2611 prosecutor Ujjwal Nikam is also joining us here on the broadcast. Thank you so much, Mr. Nikam, for joining us on Republic TV. It's a big boost coming in for New Delhi's efforts to bring justice in the 2611 case. Tahawwur Rana is now extraditable to India as per US court. Sir, how do you see this?
Indeed, it's a great victory for India for the simple reason that Tahawwur Rana is a Pakistani national who was staying in US, and not only that, but under the disguise of the traveling office, he was assisting and helping the foreign terrorist organization. David Coleman Headley, is one of his assistants who had visited Mumbai before the terror attack and even after the terror attack, in which 166 persons lost their lives, including the 6 Americans also were killed in the terror attack, and 244 people were injured. According to me, this judgment is very important of US Court of Appeal, wherein the learned magistrate of extradition court order was upheld by the 3 judges of Court of Appeal by way of an habeas corpus, and they have unanimously decided, they have turned down all the pleas which were taken by the Tahawwur Rana, so far as if he will be extradited to India, it will be double jeopardy. That was rejected by 3 judges of the American court, as well as he had taken a stand that American court, California court, did not hold him guilty so far as the conspiracy to commit terrorist act in India. Now, this is an important finding. The 3 judges of American Court of Appeal had turned down the Tahawwur Rana's plea and held that Indian charges are very specific, because I have conducted a trial in Mumbai of 26 November attack, as well as I have taken the evidence of Tahawwur David Coleman Headley, wherein the David Coleman Headley has clearly spelled out his nexus with Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jamaat-ud-Dawa and ISI people of the Pakistan army. His evidence is very important, and we have shared that evidence with the Pakistan also. But unfortunately, Pakistan has not taken any action. Now, Tahawwur Rana's extradition will help us further to open the whole nexus of the American army as well as the ISI agent, that I am very optimistic about it. So according to me, I welcome this judgment of 3 judges of American court, and this will give a big boost to India.
Mr. Nikam, I have followed the 26 trial quite closely, and in fact I remember when you were examining David Coleman Headley at the Sessions Court in Mumbai when I was present. I've seen the links that you've been able to draw, and the fact that you've been able to convince the court that this was a conspiracy that was hatched in Pakistan, and the very fact that Tahawwur Rana was providing the logistical support to David Coleman Headley. I just want to refresh it for all our viewers who are tuning in right now, why this is being considered as a big win, and the fact that bringing back Tahawwur Rana would actually open up some areas that were covered for a very long time. The very fact that the role that the Pakistani army played, the role that the Pakistani ISI actually played, and perhaps the role of another country that has not been revealed so far, but the fact that there was a tacit understanding, some countries knew that this was coming.
Yes, you are perfectly right, because David Headley has exposed the nexus between the ISI of Pakistan army and the terrorists of Jamaat-ud-Dawa, that is Lashkar-e-Toiba. It is not only that, but David Headley has shared his all email correspondence with the Pakistan army officials. Further, I must say that David Headley had also stated, because we have tendered pardon to David Headley, and he became the state witness in India, in Mumbai. So David Headley was an approver, and David Headley has given all the revelation, no doubt. David Headley tried to save Tahawwur Rana But since the Court of Appeal of American Court has clearly disclosed and as to how the Tahawwur Rana has been involved in the entire criminal conspiracy behind the terror attack of 26 November. No doubt, Tahawwur Rana has still an option for preferring an appeal. But that appeal scope is very limited, and therefore I am very optimistic the Tahawwur Rana's appeal, if at all he prefers, that will be turned down. Because the order of the three judges of the American court is very exhaustive and self-explanatory.
Mr. Nikam, just for the benefit of our viewers, in terms of the India-US extradition treaty is concerned, and the fact that this appeal that was filed by Tahawwur Rana has now been rejected by the district court, what's the way forward? Do you foresee any further hurdles, or this is the last step before he is brought back to India?
I won't say that this will be the last step, because Tahawwur Rana has still one option to challenge the order of the district court which has been passed by three judges. He has still option. But according to the American law, the scope of such appeal is a very, very narrow and limited to the extent when the question of law is involved. Now here the district court in its finding has clearly set up that as to how Tahawwur Rana's case is important so far as the criminal conspiracy, how Indian charges are very prominent. I must say that the American court has said India has shared us a competent evidence. The word used by the three judges is a competent evidence. It means that there is a much force so far as the allegation which India has made against the Tahawwur Rana. So I must congratulate the agency people who have marshaled the entire evidence against the Tahawwur Rana in American court, and ultimately the American court has also shared our views just to nip down the whole criminal conspiracy.
Mr. Nikam, I just also want to, perhaps share this with all our viewers, because we as young crime reporters have seen the way you have argued this in the Sessions Court. And I remember the fact that in the examination of David Coleman Headley, you have repeatedly spoken about some aspects that cannot be perhaps brought to the notice of the court because large part of it was hidden. Today, when you see this larger picture, years after, what is it that you believe that you could not do earlier, perhaps now will come out in the public? Will perhaps the global community really take cognizance of? And what are the lessons that are we really learning from the trial that has taken place so far?
Dear friend, frankly speaking, I don't want to share what will come out on the camera, because certain things are to be kept in secret. But I can assure you, to our viewers, that David Headley has given certain sensitive revelation. It is not only sensitive revelation, it is corroborated by the documentary evidence. That is email correspondence which was exchanged between David Headley as well as Tahawwur Rana and Lashkar-e-Toiba and ISI people. You see, I still remember in one email, David Headley has used the word कि बड़े चाचा का क्या होने वाला है, whereas that LAT operative has said, don't worry, ये formal arrest है, इसको कुछ होने वाला नहीं. बड़ा चाचा means Hafiz Sahi, and that reinforces our argument as to how the Pakistan army is trying to save Hafiz Saeed and Zakir Rahman Lakwi. Similarly, in another email, David Headley used the word as what is going to happen about a small uncle. Whereas that operative again said, you don't worry, this is a just camouflage. And I asked him, David Headley, very clearly, what do you mean big uncle, small uncle? That is the abbreviation they had used in the email correspondence. But now Tahawwur Rana's extradition will help us, our investigating agency, to unearth the further criminal conspiracy Because after the terror attack of 26 November, we have used the many checks and the counter checks to foil such type of attacks in future by any terrorist organization. So I think Tahawwur Rana's extradition will be more beneficial and helpful to the India.
One final question, Mr. Nikam, before I let you go, because I've seen the number of dossiers that you and the Mumbai crime branch essentially worked on. And over the years, these dossiers were basically handed over to Pakistan, hoping that they would really act on it. The fact that we're talking about a Pakistani army doctor, the fact that today Tahawwur Rana, in a way, if you really look at it, has also been convicted. What do you think perhaps India can do to put pressure on Pakistan now that there is a stamp that has come in from the United States of America?
See, I must tell you very clearly, after the examination of David Headley, I shared the entire evidence with the government of India, and at that time our foreign minister, Dr. Jaishankar, he was a foreign secretary. He had gone through the entire evidence. Our national security advisor, Mr. Ajit Dovalji, he has also gone through the entire evidence. And I had been to the Islamabad after the terror attack of 26 November, along with the 3 members of Indian government high officials. We discussed with the Pakistan army official as well as the home ministry officials. And we asked the pinpoint question as to why you are not prosecuting Hafiz Saeed and Ujjwal Rahman Lakwi for hacking criminal conspiracy behind the terror attack of 26 November. Their stock answer was, India has not shared us evidence. So we came back. In fact, the criminal conspiracy was hatched on their soil. They had to collect the evidence, but instead of collecting the evidence, they were throwing burden on us. So we came back again. It's a 4 members high official delegation, including me. And then we reported to the government of India. And later on, I have examined David Headley. Then we shared this entire evidence through Dr. Jaishankar, who was the foreign secretary at that time. And we sent the entire evidence to the Pakistan. Pakistan has kept mum. So it is an implied admission of the government of the Pakistan that their army apparatus, some of the officers of army apparatus of Pakistan were involved in that behind the terror attack of 26 November.
Right, Mr. Nikam, thank you so much for joining us on Republic TV, and Shravan Sen there from the newsroom on this significant development that is coming in from the United States. Of course, New Delhi will be now looking forward to speed up this process of extraditing the 2611 conspirator.